there was this muralette chick, which it is in episode 1, and they're these little chicks that hatch, and they're in the middle of the midnight, and they're using like night vision cameras essentially, and they basically have to find their way to the ocean to where their mother is. And it's kind of a hilarious sequence because they're kind of falling all over each other, and they're tripping, and they're very chaotic, and trying to find something that felt whimsical but also just weird and out there and kind of frenetic was a task. And so it kind of just became, all right, let me get some musicians in a room and let's just try out some weird sounds. And we had a group of 3 percussionists we brought in, and we'd have the screen up, and we're like, okay, let's maybe something metal here, because we kind of have this like shimmering moonlight that's hitting the water. So let's have something that reflects that. Let's have something that reflects kind of their freneticness. And so when the percussionist brought out, I still don't know exactly what it is. It sounded like a rubber ducky, which was just absurd to me. And it would kind of make this like squeaky noise, and you could do it in different rhythmic patterns. So that was brought in. We had this amazing fiddle player who I kind of said, I was like, let's just have fun and let's start reacting to the screen. And anytime they'd fall, he'd kind of do this little thing or kind of swipe upwards. And it sort of just naturally came together. But I was very stumped at the beginning because it just felt like, okay, I don't want to be too cutesy with it, but I don't want to go too weird and out there. So how do we find this creative balance that could be fun? So that was a lot of fun.
I think for me, it was probably the buffalo, because it was the opening scene of the whole series, and it was this herd of 1 million buffalo, and we were desperately trying to go with our concept where, trying to evoke what they are, but the sound, the original piece that we wrote there was very orchestral, and it's like a 9-10 minute piece, and we'd written this very orchestral thing, trying to get the thumping of the herd. And actually the end piece, through all its iterations, and it didn't have any orchestra in it at all. It still had the same elements that we'd written there, but we just found actually it was so much more effective to design some synths, which Andy did, to design some synths. And we had the choir in London, who were really like our secret weapon. They were grunting and making very, very sort of low, very I don't know how to put it nicely. Ugly noises.
Very ugly noises.
Very ugly noises. But that we started replacing the orchestra with that very early on, and actually it was really interesting. And the producers were so keen, because that was the first scene of the whole series, that when it hits, people go, wow, this is something really fresh, really something very new. And that's a really interesting point to be directed to do, because it just gives you total freedom. Even if you do something totally wrong, you've still got that freedom there. Whereas if you're not told that, you're always slightly scared of sending your demo in if it is a bit left field. So that was really great.